Welcome to the first episode of Faith in Sports. Hello, I'm your host, Rick Bowles, and my co-host is James Carnell. Faith in Sports will be highlighting coaches, student athletes, and all things Sagu athletics. Sagu is a Christian university located in the heart of Waxahachie, Texas, and our athletic program is part of the Sooner Athletic Conference. We're happy that one of our own alumni is sponsoring this fun endeavor. It's VCR Now, and they are a technology organization that can fulfill all your LED, audio, video, lighting needs, whether at a sports stadium, arena, house of worship, or business. So we're happy that those guys are a part of this. Mr. Carnell, welcome to the show, and glad to have you co-hosting Faith in Sports.
Well, thank you, Rick. It's exciting to be a part of this endeavor, and I'm hoping we can also talk a little bit of non-Sagu sports as we move along through the program.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of things to talk about, but I am a little concerned because I know who your Major League Baseball team is, and I don't think anyone in this area, this region, really cares.
You know, you would be highly misled if you did not think that this area was full of Cardinal fans. Did you know that our very own business administrator for Sagu is, rabid Cardinal fan? I don't know if you knew that, Fred Gore.
Yeah, and I'm very disappointed in him.
Well, he has good taste. He's a fine young man. But yes, I am a St. Louis Cardinal baseball fan. I grew up in Southeast Missouri. Everybody there grows up in St. Louis, heard KMOX radio. You got to hear the Cardinal baseball program every night that it was on. It's an exciting time to be alive. And they are one of the most winningest franchises in the National League. They have 11 World Series championships, 23 pennants, and probably the best fan base in baseball. So yeah, I'm a little biased.
Well, I'm happy that you're happy for them.
I'm happy.
I grew up in Oklahoma, and though a lot of people in Oklahoma like the Rangers, you know who I liked?
Who did you like?
Cincinnati Reds. You know why?
Why?
Because of Johnny Bench. Johnny Bench was from Oklahoma.
Wow.
And so it is interesting how you gravitate towards certain things that kind of make you a lifelong fan of a particular sports team.
And especially, Oklahoma doesn't have any professional.
They don't.
Except OU.
Yeah. They do have basketball.
Yes, that is true. They do have a basketball.
So obviously
now.
you don't keep up with.
Oh no, I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do. But I had to throw the joke in there about OU.
That's fine.
That's where I was going with that.
We're moving right along.
We are. Yes.
Sagu had a very exciting 2022 when it comes to championships. So James, give us little highlights of what happened in 2022 with our teams.
Well, we were able to celebrate 4 championships this year. Very exciting. In our first year of esports, which, kids, if your parents told you to stop playing video games because you can never go to school on a sports scholarship for esports, that is wrong. Our esports team are national champions. Matter of fact, Cameron Thornton, representing Sagu, took home the championship over the University of Central Missouri, and this concluded his season as an undefeated champion with a record of 12-0 in the spring 2022 semester. So that's pretty awesome.
Not bad for the first season, right?
First season of esports here at Sagu. So that's a great program. And in basketball, the Sagu Lions men's team outlasted Wayland Baptist for the 2022 Sooner Athletic Conference Basketball Tournament Championship back in March. And also, our women's softball team brought home the first ever NCCAA Softball National Championship when they defeated Columbia International back in May. So we've had some pretty exciting championships take place this past year.
It was a good year in 2022. Looking forward to even better year in 2023. But just a couple of months ago, our Lady Lions volleyball team celebrated a Sooner Athletic Conference championship by going undefeated in the regular season and championship series. They won 2 in the championship series. And a big part of Faith in Sports show will be getting to know our coaches and athletes. And tonight, we get to introduce the head coach of that incredible volleyball team, Coach Hank Moore. Coach Moore, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Very excited to be here.
So, Coach, let's get to know you a little bit. How long have you been at Sagu and specifically coaching volleyball?
I've been at Sagu. This is year 25 for me to be working here at the university. I came in a different role, and I've just finished my 22nd year as the head women's volleyball coach.
So you've seen a lot of things come and go. What's some of the highlights over the last 20 years? I mean, obviously this year was incredible, but other things that come to your mind?
Well, one of the exciting things is to see growth on the campus. For instance, this building that we're sitting in was a field, and to see all the changes that have taken place, new dorms, wellness center, even the Schaefer Center was being built when I first came here. So very exciting to see those things go, and then also to see an athletics program go from where it was our first year in the NAIA, and all the growth that's taken place has just been tremendous. And when you think back to a vision, and I sat in an office of a vice president who was in your role at that time, and he's now the president of our university, and to hear President Bridges talk about his vision to see where the athletic program could be. And now here we are 22 years later, and the vision that he projected is happening.
Well, you went undefeated during the regular season. What was that, 30-0?
We finished during the regular season, yes, we were 29-0.
Okay, and then one game into the NAIA championship. Looking back, what are some of your overall thoughts, highlights of this history-making season for you?
Well, we had some tremendous play from a lot of kids, and when you look back to highlights of the season during the season, is when you're 29-0 and looking at all the different things, we kept trying to say it's just one more game. It's just one more game. Keep your focus on the next game. But had a lot of great things happen. I think the overarching highlight is making it to the NAIA National Championship in Sioux City and getting into pool play.
You kept winning throughout the season, obviously no losses. So when did you know you had something special with this particular group of young ladies?
Well, even early when we came home from our first trip, we played at College of the Idaho, and we played several very, very high-ranked teams. And when we came home 4-0, I really thought we had a chance to do some pretty great things. And one of those wins was against Corbin University. And as we all know, Corbin played for the national championship this year, but one of their 4 losses was to us, and we beat them first weekend. I knew that we had a chance to do some really good things after that weekend.
So in the championship series, you had some new teams you had not played. What were some of the things that you learned from those losses? Well,
looking at it, we were in a situation where we had a really tough pool. We went into the tournament as the overall 9th seed. We finished the season as 7th seed, but when they reseeded everybody for the tournament, we dropped to 9, which meant that we were in the pool with number 8 and number 17. So if you look at the numbers in the pools, we had the toughest pool. But the level of play that all 24 teams that were there, when we look at across the board, every one of those teams were very, very good. And there's some things that we did that we felt like would put us in a place to win. And when it was all said and done, we fell short on some things.
So do you think there was any additional pressure on you guys? I mean, it's tough to go undefeated, and each game there's the pressure to win. We don't want this to be the first loss. Going into the championship, did you feel that?
I think if you said you didn't, you'd be lying. Yeah, I felt some pressure in that, but there were several times during the regular season that we're in a 5th set or we're late into a 4th set when I start thinking, okay, it's time to put together what am I going to say to them after their first loss. And if we had lost the very first game of the season, or if it was the 30th game of the season, the speech stayed the same. Being undefeated was never one of our goals. Mm-hmm. So I think that kind of helped us with some pressure and some things. And at that national tournament, what very few people even know is that in the very first set of pool play at 17-17, our libero tore ACL. And so when you drop your libero in the very first set, everybody's a little rattled, including the head coach.
Yeah. Well, you lost 2 games, so total, right? In the NAIA championship that ended your season. What takeaways, as you look back now over the season, What takeaways did you come away with?
Yeah. Well, we left there looking that we can compete with anybody in the nation, and we're very, very close. I'm not naive enough to say that we're there. I think there's some steps that we have to continue to make. Depth is a big thing. You know, when you lose your libero, you have to shuttle your lineup and you drop one of your best players out. The next person needs to be able to step up. And there were some other things. The teams that we played at the national tournament, every one of them were very, very big. And we just didn't have a solution for one particular rotation. You can go back in all the sets that we lost. There was one rotation where we had a difficult time matching up to the size of our opponents. And I think we got to get bigger.
So what did you learn about your players through all that? I mean, the good times, the wins are everybody's, but through the loss, after all is said and done, what did you learn about your players through that?
The biggest takeaway that I had from it is that we had a group of girls that genuinely loved each other, genuinely played together as a unit. The chemistry was incredible. And when it's all said and done at the end of it, we look back at the way that they came together and stayed together through 35 matches. Those girls stayed together. Even in losing, they were still one unit, and they did a great job with that.
Excellent. So as a Christian university, recruiting athletes, it's always the biggest challenge, isn't it? I mean, no matter where you are, recruitment is the biggie, right? But as a Christian university, recruiting athletes who have a committed relationship to Christ, it's important, right? Why is that especially important for you?
Well, as a Christian university, and early on into Dr. Bridges's tenure as a president, he had a meeting with all the athletic department, and in that he shared his vision for athletics. But in it, he made it very, very clear that we are not an evangelistic recruiting institution. We are a discipleship school. So when we're recruiting student athletes, the first question we ask them is, tell us about your relationship with the Lord. And if a girl can't articulate that, we're probably meeting with the wrong athlete. Nothing against that athlete, but they're not going to be a great fit for our institution.
Yeah. So as a Christian, as a coach, right, putting those two together, what is your perspective on how that affects your philosophy of coaching, your style of coaching? I mean, from a person in the stands viewing you on the court, my wife nudged me one day and said, "Does anything rattle him?" I mean, y'all were in your fifth set, I think, and in this, y'all hadn't lost all season, and she was just amazed at your composure. Comparing to the other coach, it seemed like it was night and day. So how does that work for you?
Well, part of 22 seasons has some to do with that. If she had seen me season 3 or 4, she'd have thought this guy's lost his mind. But no, the philosophy behind coaching, my philosophy of coaching, and my why am I coaching, I think keeps winning and losing in perspective. Our number one reason for coaching is to be in a situation where God can use us to impact and make a difference in young people's lives. Our keeping things the main thing, and we say that some coaches, keeping the main thing as the main thing means keeping winning as the main thing. For me, keeping God's word in front of those girls and living an example of who I am and where I'm going with my personal walk with Christ, and then helping them articulate that. We have three main deals that we teach, and our number one thing is my most important thing as your coach is your spiritual development. What about your walk with the Lord? Are you growing? Secondly is the academic side, and I haven't seen this semester's grades yet. Now, I was told yesterday by our AD, congratulations on a great academic year. But that's our priority, is their walk with Christ, their academics. They're here to get a degree. The Bible says to study to show yourself approved, a workman worthy of hire. So why do they go to college? They go to college to get a degree. They go to get qualified to get a job. And so we keep that in front of them. And volleyball, is in that mix. It's the third on our priority list. We commit to them that we're going to help them become the very best player that they can.
Well, Coach, we're happy that you're here, and again, congratulations on an incredible season. We won't get into what the next season looks like yet, but we'll have you back and we'll talk more about volleyball at that point. But we do have some trivia for you, so hang in here. But we've got a quick word from our sponsor. Born and bred in Texas, it's a little different, as it should. Texans love doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools around the state. It's also why VCR Now is so proud to promote their brand on this broadcast. Driven by producing quality LED video boards, state-of-the-art audio and video production systems at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs as an athletic department before recommending the best next steps. Building a great product is their business, but it's their focus on building meaningful long-term partnerships with their schools that sets them apart. From our 24/7, 365 help desk, the training lab in their hometown of Red Oak, and a sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of the athletic departments they support. VCR Now is built to last, and VCR has provided SAGU with a state-of-the-art LED scoreboard in our basketball and volleyball arena, and so sometime maybe you want to come out and check it out. It's an incredible thing to take a look at. For more information, visit VCRNow.com. So I think it's time for some trivia. James, take it away.
Trivia time. All right. And we need some little mysterious music going on behind us. But all right, Coach Moore, here we go. Can we ask you some volleyball-related trivia questions?
I'll do my best.
All right. In what country was volleyball invented?
Oh, boy.
Is it a trick question, or is it?
It might be, but I'm going to guess USA.
Boom. That is 1 for 1. Excellent.
And he doesn't know these questions ahead of time.
No,
so
he doesn't.
I tried to get them out of him, but they wouldn't give it to me.
So, yeah, volleyball was invented in the United States by William Morgan, an instructor at the YMCA in Holyoke, Massachusetts. He invented the game by combining basketball, baseball, tennis, and handball to come up with the game volleyball. Very good. All right, second question. You're 1 for 1. What country was the first to win 3 consecutive Olympic gold medals in women's volleyball?
USA, just a guess, or Brazil.
Very good, but wrong.
Wrong.
Somewhere between those two countries, Cuba.
Cuba. Okay.
Cuba was actually the first to win 3 consecutive Olympic gold medals. All right, in 92 through 96 and 2000. So they did it.
Barcelona, Atlanta, and Sydney.
And Sydney. Mm-hmm. All right, Rick. Next question.
In what year was beach volleyball, throwing a little twist at you here, what year was beach volleyball introduced into the Olympics?
Ooh. Now, I saw Karch Karai this weekend, and I heard him talking about it because he played in it.
Yes.
I want to say 84.
Not bad. 1996.
96?
In Atlanta.
Because he played in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The first gold in men's was won by Karch and Kent Steffes of the USA, and the women's gold medal was won by Sandra Pires, I think. I'm not sure I'm saying that right, and Jackie Silva of Brazil.
So I'm 1 for 4.
Well,
hey,
it's tough.
We threw some curveballs at you, so to speak.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So, do you know, or did you know, that no other SAGU team in any sport had gone undefeated all regular season, or won that many games in a row? Did you know that?
Yes.
You did.
Yeah,
So
I
you
had
were aware of that.
Yeah, there was a basketball team. I'm trying to remember what year it was. It was before I came to work here, that won the first NBCAA national championship. But I think they lost early and then went on a run where they won like 22, 23 in a row.
Excellent. This SAGU women's volleyball was the only undefeated team in America at any college level until we lost the first match in Iowa at the NAIA championship tournament.
Yes.
Okay.
That's some pretty interesting information there.
Very interesting information.
That included NCAA 1, 2, 3, and then even the lower level or other levels of Bible college. Everybody had at least one loss.
Wow.
So I'm going to go back to something you said because there are some people probably listening who may not be as up to date with volleyball. You said you lost your libero player.
Right.
Carnell doesn't have any idea what that is. Could you explain that role?
The libero is a little defensive specialist, and ours isn't little. She's 5'7", but that's little. She wears a different color jersey. She can play the back row for any player. The only limitations that she has, she can only serve in one spot. So when you take a kid like your libero, she literally plays 5.5 of the 6 full rotations. So she's on the floor all the time. And for us, our libero's Tessa Glick, one of our captains, tremendous leader and just a tremendous player. And when the match was over, the second day, she even said to my wife, she said, I had no idea that I had that big of an impact on our team. So it's pretty interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
There may be some people, maybe parents that are listening to this show. Give us some of the things that you're looking for when you go out recruiting volleyball players. What are some of the tangibles and maybe non-tangible things that you're looking for?
There's a couple things that we look for. One, I love to watch girls that don't know that I'm watching them, and I love to see how they interact with their teammates. And if they are girls that draw people together, I think they're a good fit. And, of course, athleticism, you're looking for girls that can play the game. And but those girls that are great team players, we ask the question of them, tell us about your walk with the Lord. They can articulate that. The second question is, tell us about your academics. Have you taken ACT, SAT? And for us, that matters. And if you look at volleyball players, typically, they're fairly good students, most of them. And for us, one of the reasons we do that is we can recruit them and get some academic scholarships for them, and it helps them be more competitive in the recruitment cycle.
So your recruitment, where, some schools are geographically limited, kind of where they're recruiting primarily from the certain areas. Where is your recruiting area?
Well, we recruit a lot of kids in Texas, but with the computer and with the technology and the way things are today, there's so many recruitment sites and businesses, and so we get contacted. We use 2 or 3 primarily. Even this last week, I'm at the American Volleyball Coaches Convention, but they have a showcase. I spent 5 hours on Saturday watching kids play volleyball before the national championship game. I'm there recruiting. Yeah, and so we have websites with tons and tons and tons of information. You can watch a kid play pretty much all over.
Do you receive a lot of video, computer generated emails sent to you all the time of things that are of student athletes? How effective is that? I'm just curious.
Well, it's very effective if the video stuff is pretty easy to watch and view and find. But like this morning, I looked at 4 different kids that contacted me overnight that I got emails from them. We watch the video. We look at all their information. I send it to my assistant coach and said, take a look at this girl. Tell me your thoughts on that particular student. We had one girl today that's a fabulous player, but it's late in the year for 23, and we've already scholarshiped 2 girls that play the same position that she does. Would we have taken her last summer? Maybe, because she's that good of a player, but we're already full up in that position, so we're not looking for that.
So they need to get their information to you sooner.
The saying with volleyball is if you have not signed a kid by Thanksgiving, for the next year, you're not going to get them. A majority of the kids that we have signed, we had signed before school volleyball started this year. Yeah, they'd already committed.
Don't want to put you on the spot, but do you do camps for anyone? I mean, is it open to anyone that wants to? And when is that, or an idea of when that is?
Yeah, we do a volleyball camp every summer here on our campus. It's usually the 3rd week in July, and anybody is welcome to that. That's the week that we end up signing several kids, because we invite them to come to volleyball camp. They come and spend 4 or 5 days with us. They know who we are. They know how we run things, and usually they make a commitment that week.
Are you very effective at recruiting here in the Waxahachie area, Dallas-Fort Worth area?
Yes, I'll say yes. This year especially, because we signed Waxahachie's a little girl that's a 4-year varsity player for Waxahachie High School. She committed to us before volleyball started, and then we also signed a player out of Red Oak. Before that, I would say not really in Waxahachie. The kids are wanting to leave, but we've had 3 girls from Waxahachie High School that have played for us, and all 3 of them had very successful careers here.
Excellent.
Well, it's an exciting. I haven't made every home game, and he's going to probably shoot me for saying that. But the ones that I have made, there was something special. You could tell that there was so much chemistry, and it was almost as if they knew what the next player's move was, and that doesn't happen by chance. So we just want to say congratulations on again for another great year. And my last question to you is how young is too young for maybe a parent to be saying, hey, we'd like you to consider our daughter to be a part of the team?
We're typically recruiting 2 years out. And so I talked to a good friend of mine at the convention this weekend, and I said, we're getting emails from girls that are graduating in 2026. I said, I think that's a little young.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I usually tell them, get back to me when you get your driver's license. But typically 2 years out. We have offered some girls for 2024. We've already offered kids positions. That's 2 years out.
Yeah, that's great. Well, James, we made it through our first broadcast here on KBEC, and we have Coach Delton Deal, our men's basketball coach, will be with us next week.
Excellent.
So it'll be fun. We'll learn about their season and get caught up on some of the games.
And hopefully we'll catch up on some local pro sports as well.
We could do that.
We'll tell everybody how the Cowboys did in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Hopefully well.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, Faith in Sports is a broadcast property of SAGU, a Christian university located in Waxahachie, Texas. And it has over 70 undergraduate and graduate degrees, including on-campus and online options. Faith in Sports is sponsored by VCRNow.com. Visit sagu.edu for more information. Also, stay up to date with all things Sagu Athletics at sagulions.com.